That said, when they did that, and he's like, enough is too much, no more fall of Tenochtitlan, I was like, wait.
How the fuck?
So do Mexicans not exist in the Marvel Universe as we know them? Go back and watch our original first episode, non-spoiler.
That'll be like a part 1.
Yeah, it's a part 1.
Yeah.
We have a conversation about terrible audience members and all sorts of other stuff. And if you're watching this back-to-back, you already know this. Thank you for sticking with us for the second part of the spoiler review.
Right.
It's going to go out a couple days after, I think. Just to give people time to watch it.
Yeah, we don't want to be those people.
Yeah, don't want to push the load because we are going to spoil the shit out of this movie. We're going to go right into it. So if you want to know our reviews, I gave it a 8. You gave it an 8.5. Yep. Tommy McGrew, introduce yourself again once again.
McGrew, how are you?
And then Jordan over there gave it a...
I gave it a 7.
Gave it a 7. Yeah. All passing grades.
Yeah, all around the same.
All right. So, I mean, we can get into anything in this movie.
So we were talking about the fears,
right,
and things that freak us out and scare us. So for me, things far larger than me freak me the fuck out.
Oh yeah, we're talking about these fucking Eternals that are in the Celestials.
Ashram, what is his name? Ashram or whatever. And when she when Selma Hayek or Ajax visit him for the first time,
you don't see all of him.
She just this small to this man's big ass face.
You don't see his face.
Right.
That's like
you see eyes.
Of his forehead.
That's it. I'm like, she's talking to Rihanna.
The Celestial?
Oh, Ashram,
something like that. Yeah.
And so already it's starting to get, like, I've read the comics, I know how big they are. And the scale, like, to me, Galactus, I've always wanted to see Galactus because he frightens the
he's
shit
coming.
out of me.
Oh, he coming.
I know he was in Fortnite.
This was a test for that shit.
I know he was in Fortnite when he came to Fortnite. All you saw was his big ass head, and that was it. And that giant
freaks you out.
Yeah.
I've always, in my mind, I was like, how come a movie with all the CGI we have now has not done that? That is scary as fuck. That
Arishem
makes you feel so
is the name.
insignificant.
Arishem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you feel so insignificant. Makes your characters look insignificant in such a way that you're like, oh, it's no fucking way. I hope you're not crossing him because there's no way you're going to beat him at all. Like, not even close.
You think a Thor is going to take out this guy here?
Dormammu ain't taking that motherfucker out. No one. Doctor Strange is not taking that motherfucker out. No one is taking that motherfucker out at all. That's one. It's a million of them. They're everywhere.
Right. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's like a smaller scale
That's one of the smaller ones. That's super small. He's actually, like, in the comics, I think he's one of the smallest Celestials.
Which one? That one here? The one
that you see in Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, he's small. He's tiny. I forgot his name, but he's known to be tiny. And they vary in size, but the big ones are like Askrim or whatever the fuck is that?
Arishem.
There you go. You do that.
Isan the Searcher is the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, and they grow bigger and bigger. So that's the thing. So now we're starting to kind of get a look of if the Galactus does visit this world, how's that going to look? Fucking scary.
And what's even more scary is at the end when the new Celestials being born, and just how they're
born is scary.
Oh my god!
And when they're froze, it's like it kind of reminds me of, just real quick. It kind of reminds me of the new God of War. When they went to fight that big giant Jornheim, they went to whatever giant that was. Yeah, but whatever giant that was, when he got that big bolt stuck in the side of his head. And I was just like, that's what that reminds me of. Scary.
It's terrifying, man. It's so fucking scary.
Yeah.
And how these, so spoilers, that's what this is for.
Yep.
And we call this Marvel's Bible. So how universes are created, it's basically a seed. This seed is planted in a planet.
Jordan, that's what you're talking
about. In our case, Earth. Yeah.
Freaky as hell, man.
It's so fucking scary. In our case, Earth is the ground. The Celestials drop a seed in that bitch, and it has to grow. How does it grow? People. Basically, people.
Energy. The energy
feeds off energy from people. So the more people on the planet, the more it can pull until it reaches its
peak,
fully developed,
and global warming happening because of the goddamn thing. They threw that in there for us.
Why not?
Why not?
It's a super liberal movie. So might as well fuck it. And so so basically the Earth is an egg that has to hatch.
Incubator.
It's got to crack.
Yeah.
It's an
and when
incubator.
it cracks, holy fuck.
That simulation though, where
it was terrifying.
Right.
His hand reaching out, clawing out, and you're just like, oh, there's nothing.
This big explosion,
there's nothing
and there's
beyond
nothing
that,
anymore.
Right?
And then,
it's a displacement of energy that he's feasting on.
Yes, but out of that nothing, that's how other universes grow. So them doing that, that's how we keep on keeping on.
Right.
It's basically like pollen and a bee. A bee goes and pollen on another planet, helps
exactly.
it grow.
So the big conflict in this movie at the end is, okay, yeah, this is how civilization keeps going. This is what we're sent here to do. That's our real mission. Make sure that happens. You'll get your minds erased. We'll ship you to the next Earth, and you can do it all over again.
Right.
And that's the way life works. That's how life is created. It's basically, okay, so we're going to kill 1 billion to grow tens of billions, basically, because it's going to keep going and circulate.
Right.
And the Eternals are like, no, fuck that. Not this one. This one stays as is. And no, we're not going to let this world get destroyed because we're human now. Mm-hmm. You see these people go from blanks, completely blank, to having personalities,
having a conscience.
To Kumail Nanjiani in fucking Bollywood
that
for
shit
100
was
years, 200 years.
Yeah, he's his own lineage. Yeah.
My grandfather.
That's my great grandfather. My grandfather. That's my father. That's
the greatest dynasty in all of Bollywood, which
yes.
to me is the funniest.
I love the fact they gave such a shout out to Bollywood was just cool.
Oh, it's nice. Yeah,
it was really nice. Yeah. He was just like nice, and he was a great character that represented it well.
By the way, his sidekick
driver,
was a great character.
You gotta have
too.
one of those in every Marvel movie. I did not hate him.
I did not hate him.
He kept the levity.
Hey, did you get that? Yes, I did.
No. You know what? The part where I almost cried? When they made the decision that they were going to fucking blow everything up or that they weren't going to fight.
Yeah.
He was just like, thank you for humanity.
Yeah.
It was an honor.
It was like a human talking to a god.
Right.
Like, what would a human who appreciates the life they had say to a god
and if you look
at the end? Yeah.
What we can assume is a Hindu religion where they have multiple gods that do multiple things, which are based off of them for the most part, we can assume.
Right.
It is a oddly beautiful moment in a movie where he's just like, thank you for humanity. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Yes.
And he's tearing up because he knows he's going to be dead.
Yeah.
But he has the luxury of meeting the gods.
Right? Basically, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's things like that, Sammy, is what I'm talking about. That shit is so above anything Marvel does.
I didn't realize how biblical.
Oh, it's super fucking biblical.
Because you think about it, the Celestials basically saying, look, I created these deviants for a specific reason, but they got out of control, and so now I created the Internals to keep them in line, or just basically eliminate them. So it's just like Adam, Eve, God. It's like
the fallen man, the deviants, went beyond their purpose and ate from the apple of Eden.
Yeah.
And then the deviants are trying to stay alive, fighting off fucking Icarus. It's like, fuck that, we want to live.
I kind of laugh though, because in the process of when he kills Ajax. Mm-hmm. And he's sending his tentacles and trying to upgrade everybody else. I kept thinking, this feels like Pokemon Go. Like, I'm upgrading these fucking Pokemon to new
video game boss level upgrades.
Oh, absolutely.
So it just felt like that, but I didn't. Now that we were talking about it more, I just didn't realize how biblical this film is.
Oh, when they're ascending all together,
like the Middle East,
Mesopotamia. It just feels so biblical with them. But
they went to the beginning of time. Yes. Fucking, they're like Babylon. Fuck it.
Also,
people are fishing and fucking dragons are coming out and eating people's dads.
Runs.
Like the fact that humanity.
That's the opening.
Well, that was the beautiful part. I go immedially dragons. Yeah. That's how we get the legend of dragons, and they go, dragons are real. All that lore of dragons that you see in the notes of mankind and all Arthurian legend and things like that. It's like, they're fighting deviants. Yeah. Excalibur probably killed a deviant.
Nessie,
Hercules,
probably a deviant. Yeah.
Hercules is also in the MCU, but Hercules is also a legend that comes about.
I think we're going to see Hercules.
Absolutely, I've heard. Yeah.
Thor, yeah. So,
now, here's the one thing I have a question in my brain about. Okay. When does the new Spider-Man happen with the multiverse stuff? Because
I was waiting on some multiverse
because people seeing Arishem in the sky. People having now, like, is Spider-Man No Way Home? Are they going to have the Marvel Celestial in the middle of the Indian Ocean? That's an event. Like, and the thing is,
it's like, look, an event happens in this movie like the fucking blip.
We can spoil.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. So we told you about the sea planet,
Terramana, whatever the fuck the guy's name is.
So this motherfucker halfway gets out before the stop it. Yeah. So you would think, okay, it had the damage it had to have done to planet Earth just in the little bit it came out, had to be epic. So
right, because he put his hand and his face out,
his face, which are miles apart, by the way. Like, the scale is insane.
His dick is in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, okay, that's all I'm saying. His toe is in Antarctica. Right. It's like, it's so massive in scale.
We have to still live on this planet.
Right.
Uterus, basically. Like, okay, they defeated that. Super. They beat it. Great. So forgot about Asheroth, right? Everyone
Right.
has at this point.
Right.
Everyone's going about their day.
Well, I knew. I was like, oh, shit.
I did
How
too.
is he
I'm
going to
like-
do? How's Daddy going to feel about
I'm
this?
like, hey, Cersei, you do remember what he told you, right? And she clearly forgot. So he reminds her and everybody on Earth, when this motherfucker's head appears in the fucking sky,
In
Right.
the atmosphere.
and you want to
goddammit.
see scale, god damn, over London, just
Right.
out of nowhere.
And technically, if something was that big, that close, the oceans
Oh,
would
no,
just
heart attack.
flip. No, the oceans would just
Yeah, it was swirling all of the gravitation would just be fucked.
Right.
And so you're like, oh my God. And he basically's like, hey, Cersei, bitch, come here.
Like,
And
yeah,
just
all
takes
the
her.
all the remaining ones that are there.
Oh, he does take
yeah,
them all.
he takes Camille,
No.
all that stuff.
He only takes 3 of them because the other
other
three,
ones yeeted, yeah,
the other
yeah,
ones,
yeah,
they
they're
already there.
there.
They already
Right.
disappeared.
Hey, remember? Oh, and then but they didn't take the one that was a human. I don't think. Did they
No,
take Sprite?
Sprite, yeah. So Jim already.
I don't think he took
No,
Sprite.
he didn't
I
take
thought he
Sprite.
did.
He only
Sprite-
took 3.
He only took 3, yeah. It was only 3.
So that would be Camille Nanjiani.
No, he
Gemma
was
Chan.
out.
Jim-
He
He
didn't
left.
fly. He didn't fly.
No. He took.
Forgetting that.
No.
No,
the only
he took-
person that flew were Druig,
Speedster,
Speedster.
and Angelina Jolie.
and Angelina
Yes.
Jolie.
Those are only 3 that was on the ship.
Right.
He
Right.
took the other 3 and say, look,
Sprite, Camille Nanjiani, and
Faster?
Cersei.
he didn't take Sprite.
He didn't take Sprite. Sprite was human at that point.
Which one's Fastos?
Fastos-
Sprite's human.
Yeah,
so she
Sprite's
doesn't get
human.
that.
She's
Right.
insignificant.
Right.
She doesn't have power. So, which she does for her.
Well, she has her
all the
memory. That's the
power.
other thing.
She
Now,
has-
is she going to have a
does
fucking
memory.
seizure when her memories, like when she has too many memories for the remainder of her life?
Yeah.
All of them tend to run that risk because they don't
All
have their
of them
memory
do,
right.
yeah.
General question though, what happens when she gets old and be like, hey, can I get my powers back? Is that even possible?
Nah, she's human. She's done.
I mean, she's been around long enough. This
Right.
motherfucker's looking down at Earth like, I'm looking at this micro.
Right.
This is the equivalent.
Wait a minute.
This
So-
is Earth. I'm Asheroth.
Right.
This is what he's like, hey, come
So
here.
did he take him with him?
Yes, he took the physical body because Gemma Chan was already gone when he was
Right. Yeah.
where Jon Snow was like, "What the fuck happened?" And so he was like, "I'm gonna take your brains and read your memories to figure out if they're worth this shit."
Yeah.
And
You got so
right,
much time and I'm coming back.
right.
So good luck.
Right.
Make sure you get your shit in order because if I
Right.
come back and I don't like what I see,
Right.
this shit's done.
Here's my question. It's gonna lead to my theory.
Oh yeah, you got to get into that one.
I got beef because
Mel Gibson.
Droog.
I have beef against
Because
Mel.
I gotta
Gibson
ask
also.
about Droog. Did you like him or did you not?
I like them.
He was okay. I thought he
want
was.
to see more of
I
him.
think he's a coward.
What?
And I tell you why, because of the fact that when they were fighting the deviants, he talked so much about them in the beginning in regards to, look what we doing now. We're not even stepping in to save these people. We could have stopped this war here. And he basically did that. Stopped the war, which goes into his theory.
Yeah.
Stopped the war, but then he sacrificed those humans to fight the deviant. It's like, so that doesn't make sense. You're saying that you could have stopped the war.
He kept
lot
him.
of
He
time-
kept him away. He had
I get that,
short
but-
A lot
rifling
of time
squad.
has
But
passed.
two of them got fucked up in the process by a deviant. So
The
it's just
rest of
like,
the river.
right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's the reason why I was like, iffy, because he's
That's why I think we
somewhat
need
of a
to know
hypocrite.
more. I feel like no, because to me, I feel like that
You
was
feel like because time
2,000 years.
passed.
Time has passed. He has to be disillusioned with people at some point to where it's like, all right, man. Like,
Right.
No,
whatever.
because if that was the case, he would have never created that little village he did.
But look at that. He was in Brazil. He could have had Rio de Janeiro.
he
chose the Amazon, the most
he
secluded
was being a
place.
cult leader like
Like a motherfucker.
He was being
They had fucking muumuus and aprons and shit.
Did you see
It
how
was
he was
weird.
dressed?
he was being Jim Jones.
Oh, like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Instead of the Kool-Aid,
He was
it
Kanye
the
West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got Sunday service.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no,
But-
it was Marilyn Manson.
But Droog was just fast. He was a fascinating character to me
Yeah.
because he's like
Underdeveloped.
Yo, fuck all this, dude. Fuck that. I can control everyone's fucking minds. We can
By
stop
far one of
this
the most powerful
shit.
powers.
And that was one of the dialogues that I enjoyed the most when they were having a conversation about Angelina Jolie. Do we wipe her mind? And it was like,
Yeah,
look,
she's
we're
fucked up.
questioning the mission because we can't interfere. We kill all the deviants, great, but we're seeing this slaughter going on specifically out here.
Right.
We can end this. We're powerful enough to do that.
Right.
And Ajax is like, nope. We're not involved in that. Our job is this specifically. And I like that conflict or the conversation that they had between each other. That is what I enjoyed the most, that specifically, that conversation.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
really good.
And yeah, but he was just like, I can stop all of
Right.
it. He goes, imagine living with that for 4,000 years.
Yeah.
That I can stop all this pain.
That's what I'm saying, and that has to fuck with you in
right.
some
And so
way.
the fact that he was bitter and fucking angry and just yeeted himself away, and then on a
From everyone.
sidebar, the part I actually did almost cry on,
Oh.
Hiroshima.
Oh yeah.
Fucking
Oh Hiroshima.
fucking Fastos
crying because I created this technology, and I'm like,
no, because you see him,
shit.
but you see him excited. He's making steam engines.
Yeah,
and
before he should be.
Right, and then you just see the aftermath, and he's sitting, he's standing there.
See, we needed more development, because I feel like with him, he has to create. That's what he's there for.
Right.
Like he doesn't want to stifle himself, and so of course he would create weapons, and he would create the
tools
atom bomb and tools.
Oh no, he would give them the ability to smash an atom, and then they took it to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
But he could kind of see where they would go with it.
No, but just the fact
and
that
the fact that it's like this is what I do.
Was,
and this is what
the fact that he was balling like that, he's like, I did this,
right.
I created this, and
this
I would
is what
never
they did
expect.
with it, yeah.
Right, I thought I was creating something that was genius, and they used that to fuck this shit up, to wipe
what
out.
was the line he said though? He's like, they don't deserve this.
People don't deserve.
These people don't deserve.
They don't deserve to be saved.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. That's because it's like, you know what? The way the world is, you're right. Yeah.
To counter that,
if we're gonna be doing shit like this, we don't deserve this life, man.
Yeah.
And it hurt to hear a demigod say that, even though he's just a guy.
I love it. Yeah.
But to counter that, though, the conversation that Cersei had with Kit Harington, she was like, well, we don't interfere because, of course, you guys wouldn't be able to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I was saying I can understand there's both sides to that argument. But look, we can stop this bullshit. I have the power to do that. But they're like, no, don't do that because you guys cannot develop as human beings specifically. You're basically just living in a giant cult on this earth. Right. You know, so I think that's the reason why I enjoy seeing both sides.
Side too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, it's a lot of that.
Right.
Like it's a couple of those in this. The way it's like these are debatable issues, right? And they debate them.
And that brings me to my final point about Druig, and I bothered me the moment it happened. So the reason why Druig has this conflict in himself about being able to stop chaos, stop war, and everything of that sort,
right,
is as we know in history is the fall of Tenochtitlan, if that's how I'm pronouncing it right. But this is an artwork of it, right? So this is pretty much considered the last stand of the conquest of Mexico from the Spaniards during that era.
Right.
So essentially, the Aztecs were getting decimated. Let's read it here. It's a decisive event in the Spanish conquest of the empire. It occurred in 1521, following extensive manipulation of local factions and exploiting the pre-existing political divisions by Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés. He was aided by indigenous allies, his interpreter and companion La Malinche, which was essentially the worst thing you can call a woman in Mexican culture. So the conquest of Mexico was a critical stage of Spanish colonization of the Americas. So they show that happening in this movie,
right?
And I was like, yeah, Tenochtitlan. Oh no, that's like going back to like I don't know, like
Slavery.
The White House and be like, oh, the White House is on fire, tight when the English invaded and shit. It's even worse. I don't know. I couldn't think of a black historical one. Slavery. It's like being there during
raid, maybe,
or something. I don't know. But you're watching. I've never seen Tenochtitlan in a movies, let alone a Marvel movie. And I'm like, this is so fucking. The pyramid is massive.
You see it.
The people fucking don't believe these. We built these pyramids, right?
And I don't know how.
It is there. Fucking, we're great. Yeah. Fucking anyway.
Fuck anyone who doesn't believe that, but go ahead.
Right, racism. If you don't think that fucking aliens did it, we did it anyway. And so you see it on fire, and you see fucking things collapsing and falling. Okay,
all over the place.
And Druig is like,
"Let me stop this.
We can stop this shit."
No, I can stop this.
No, I know, but like he's like, well, like, fuck you, Fastos, for giving these motherfucker guns.
Yeah.
Now, the only problem I had a little bit was that they were like, these savages can't keep up. I was like, no, they were technologically advanced. They just didn't have steel and they didn't have gunpowder.
Yeah,
so
very biggies.
Right.
Yeah.
So these fucking dumbass Spanish people could just grab a gun and shoot anybody and just eliminate these fucking warriors,
easily,
right?
Yeah.
And so, but they're massacring them from a distance, or they're showing it very graphically. And I'm like, fuck. And then Druig is like, I can stop this shit right now. This does not have to go on. This is gonna go on fucking forever.
Yeah.
This is gonna go on forever. If we don't stop this right fucking now. And I'm like, yeah, Druig, stop those goddamn Spanish conquistadors. Stop them from raping and pillaging our peoples, right?
Of course.
And then they fight a little bit more, and he's like, oh, okay, we're gonna fucking split up the band. Fucking fine.
I quit. He was the first to quit.
Right. He
started it.
So mind you, 1521 is like that's like that was the Mexicans being invented. That fall of Tenochtitlan was the thing that
horrible way, but yeah,
was the part. No, but I actually kind of like that a little bit in the narrative of it because that's the fucking moment that the world's cruelty got too much for them. I kind of love that a little bit. I really kind of love that because that's a fucked up thing.
Yes.
A company comes in looking for golds and riches, massacres of people until they are fucking eliminated from existence.
It's a lot of that's happened many a time.
Right.
Before. Yeah, go ahead.
Unless you're in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Unless Disney gets a hold of it.
Right. So they kind of let history go and do its thing, right? They kind of just let it do its thing. In this movie, they go, no. Drew goes, I have enough. I am done with this bullshit. Him and his fucking Hector-ass Mexican haircut. That's the Hector cut, if you guys are not asking for the Cholo Mexicans. No. But this guy says, enough is too much. Brain control. Boom.
Because he could control
brains.
I feel like he could control cities.
He can control the world, he said.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
so he's got Cerebro in his bitch.
Yeah.
So
he is Cerebro.
He is Cerebro.
Yeah.
He is the Cerebro. Yeah. And it's terrible, I know. He goes, Aztecs, Spanish, chill. Everyone's eyes go white.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, walk. We're done here. And so the Spanish and the Aztec warriors, they follow him, and then he becomes allegedly a cult leader. At the very least, stops that fighting. Okay.
Yeah, he did that in two completely different parts of the world.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if Marvel's dumb, but he goes, "Fuck it, we're done here. No more fall of Tenochtitlan. We're done." Okay. And then my brain goes, "Whoa, that's great, but
wait a minute.
So Mexicans, funny thing about them."
Yeah.
They're the product of the elimination of the Aztec Empire and the Spanish conquista of that land.
Yeah.
And by the means of raping, pillaging, and so on.
Right.
So when the fall of Tenochtitlan happens, that proceeds to just go indefinitely, forever, and on until Mexicans, as they are in modern form, are born. That's why you have guys who look like JJ, who are 5'3" and darker skinned and with silky long Indian native hair, and then you have the people of the same ethnicity that look like me, a bearded Moor that's 6 foot tall and white.
Yeah. True. You could pass as other things.
No, but that's the point that me and JJ are the same ethnicity is because of that violent merging of these two cultures.
You're more of the Spanish.
So I don't claim it. It's not that.
Obviously
but
not.
That's
but I'm talking about looks wise.
But that's where I get my looks.
Hey, I'm from Spain.
Right.
People be like, all right, cool.
And the Moors
move the fuck on.
And the Moors took over Spain twice for several hundred years, which is why I have the beard and the hairies.
Right.
That's Middle Eastern. Yeah. So that said, when they did that, and he's like, enough is too much. No more fall of Tenochtitlan. I was like, wait.
How the fuck?
So do Mexicans not exist in the Marvel universe as we know them in our world? We got Falcon 2. You got Ramirez. You got Spanish last names. Yeah. You have fucking Luis from Ant-Man.
Right.
But like Mexicans. Right. Yeah. And Mexicans as we live in the world of America in our real life.
Yes.
In my brain, the first thought was they no longer exist. Or at the very least, we're in smaller numbers because they went and they just pieced out and they were having a good time. But then my brain thought, wait. Mexicans can still exist because they took the Spanish and the Aztecs and he fucked off with them into the jungle. And it was like,
he had control.
And he had control of all of them.
So I'm sure he had an orgy or two.
I wonder.
I can almost guarantee you
Which
did.
I think it might be even worse. Because I thought it was like, okay, we're going to make everyone nice to each other. Cool. Right? Remember, because he was able to make them hug the guys in the bar.
That's right.
Slap, hug it out. He was able to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, did he make the Aztecs and the Spanish hug, and then they just like, all right, let's get along, orgies. And then made Mexicans that way? Yes. I'm just saying.
The 616.
Like no, but I'm just
saying a friendly orgy. Led on by
right, and so how is that? So then how is that history told? Where they go, okay,
we don't talk about
the Spanish.
That. Like Disney slavery. We don't.
No, I'm talking about in the textbook. I'm talking about what Peter Parker learns at his high school. Right?
You want that textbook?
Does that mean I want that textbook because it'd be like there was a battle and all of a sudden some dude was like, cut it out.
Obviously not.
And then aftermath, which would be a whole sect of the Spanish conquista and the native peoples started healing each other, cured them of the smallpox, and said, "We're friends now." And then they made
history.
And then they made the ultra mighty Aztec Mexico Empire, and so Mexico is the #1 world power as opposed to America.
Well, I'm about to completely ruin all of that.
You're not.
They could have just like Druig could have been like, okay, I'm done with this. He had to have left at some point.
Right, because he ends up going to Brazil.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know when he got to Brazil.
Right, and if they're,
So
and
when
that's
he
what I'm
left,
wondering about.
Of course, these fuckers are gonna go right back to the same shit.
Well, no, but they could have been brainwashed to be friends.
No, he doesn't brainwash.
He doesn't brainwash. He just takes on
It's
his
temporary, yeah.
So,
well, because he made them hug it out, but people still fight after.
no, when he's done it with them, they go back to themselves. So he doesn't. He's not planting shit. He can only.
But I don't think that Marvel's going to be like, these motherfuckers not smart enough to actually put 2 and 2 together in this.
I am, God
Like
damn
they
it.
did, because this money was
My
all he was
people.
focused
But he's
on.
Mel Gibson right now. He's conspiracy
my
theory.
people, my history, and the fact that it was
caught it
nothing else.
immediately.
I caught it immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, and
So
I was
I don't
like,
think
go
you'd be
back
the
to that,
only
please
one.
go back to that, please. And then they're like, oh, we're in Brazil now. I'm like, do you guys think Mexico and Brazil are the same? I hope not. I hope not.
Disney,
He
so
was just like, I'm gonna. And then the other thing I got mad at, how come a white man got control of the Mexicans, huh?
Irishman.
Irish. Well, he's Catholic, and if he's Irish, he's Catholic.
Right.
He probably invented Catholicism.
He probably did.
Right. So
That's what I was expecting him to go at some point.
Is it Ireland? Yeah.
Yeah, like-
Catholic. Hey, Irish and Mexicans are dope. We're Catholic. We fight a lot. We fuck a lot. We drink a lot.
Yeah.
We sing songs of the good times and some from the better times. That is Chumbawamba.
Right.
But no,
Summed it up.
I'm like, do Mexicans exist in the
They
MCU?
exist. Obviously, they exist. It's just how did they
come about?
I want to know that alternate history.
What is the
And
creation
also,
of that?
I'm glad
Get in touch with
that
Kevin Feige.
The cruel. I'm gonna tweet him. I'm be like, do Mexicans exist in the MCU?
Oh, you got to put this out there.
I'm gonna.
Someone's going to answer it.
Someone's got to.
Yeah.
This is going to be its own YouTube segment. We're going to do 3
Yeah.
segments on this one. And it's
TikTok
going to be,
and YouTube.
do
I need answers.
Mexicans exist in the MCU?
In the MCU, yeah.
Tommy!
You ain't giving